How often do we let fear and doubt cause us to miss opportunities? Which advancement have you missed out on due to your fears, uncertainties, anxieties, and lack of faith in either God or yourself? Moses was called by God for an assignment, but due to his insecurities and fears, God had to assign the responsibility of speaking to his brother Aaron instead. If we let our insecurities take control, we may miss out on the opportunity to be used by God to accomplish remarkable things in our lifetime. Without letting insecurity or fear hinder us, we have the potential to achieve great success and personal growth. Welcome to Solutions for Life. This podcast is going to be about what we can learn from Moses. It's going to show how learning from the experiences of Moses, who is widely regarded as the most significant prophet in the Bible, can teach us some valuable life lessons. The chapters that we're going to go over is going to reveal how much control God has over all things, how we miss opportunities due to fear and doubt, how to trust the process, how to persevere through challenges, and more. So this podcast is going to be taken from the series called Life Lessons Learned from the Bible, and it's going to be from the book of Exodus chapters 4 through 6. One thing to keep in mind, the lessons you learn in life are crucial for guiding you on the path towards fulfilling your purpose. These lessons have the power to either positively alter the course of your life and give you a new outlook on life, or you can take the lessons and become a victim of it and take you down a path that you will later regret. When you read the Bible will provide you with many life lessons that will help you navigate through life successfully. And if you focus on learning from your life lessons and combine it with the lessons taught in the Bible, they can be the driving force to your success. So we're going to talk about the story of faith, what God can do, and who God is. And again, we're going to be making references to the book of Exodus, specifically chapter 4 through 6. As I review these chapters, I will encourage you to go over them and read them for yourself in details to see what they say. But I'm going to go ahead and just show you some life lessons that we learned from each of these passages. So when we look at Exodus chapter 4 and 11 and 21, it reveals the nature of God, highlighting his sovereignty and control over all things. And it shows that God orchestrates events according to his will, influencing what we can and cannot accomplish. Ultimately, God's authority extends over every aspect of our lives. As we go further and read Exodus chapter 4 and 12, it reveals that God is our guide, our helper, and he's the one who supports us in fulfilling his commands. Moses was not acting on his own accord, but following God's directive to deliver his people. So this demonstrates that when God instructs us, he also equips us to carry out his purpose. When God sends us out on a mission, we possess everything necessary to fulfill his requirements because we have him. All that is needed is our obedience. By stepping out in faith and obeying, God will reveal the next steps to us. Taken from the passages in Exodus chapter 4, 14 through 16, we can see how often we let our fear and doubt cause us to miss opportunities. Which advancement have you missed out on due to your fears, uncertainties, anxieties, and lack of faith? As with Moses, he was called by God for an assignment, but due to his insecurities and fears, God had to assign the responsibility of speaking to his brother Aaron instead. If we let our insecurities take control, we may miss the opportunity to be used by God to accomplish remarkable things in our lifetime. Without letting insecurity or fear hinder us, we have the potential to achieve great success and personal growth. When we look at Exodus chapter 5, 6 through 9, these scriptures are an example of what it means to trust the process and to continue what has already been started, even in the face of challenges. What do you do when God asks of you to do something and you are met with a bad outcome? Do you quit? Do you get discouraged, or do you keep going? Choosing to keep going is the best decision, as anything done for God is guaranteed to succeed because God's promises always come to fruition. Moses and Aaron found themselves in a challenging predicament. Prior to God summoning Moses was going about his business and living his life when God gave him an assignment. Initially hesitant, Moses eventually yielded to God's request. However, following his compliance, he faced criticism and received backlash from the people he was supposed to rescue. If you were in Moses' position, what actions would you have taken? How would you react if you found yourself questioning whether to follow God's guidance, and after hesitating and deciding to obey, things got worse? It is crucial that you remain steadfast, resilient, and determined when faced with opposition. Giving into frustration or disappointment can hinder your success and prevent you from achieving greatness. Your bad experiences won't change God's outcome. Despite everything, God is still the ultimate authority, and his plans for you will come to fruition. And here's why. God's personality is loyal, committed, devoted, and powerful, among others. He upholds his word and fulfills his promises. He's all-powerful and has the ability to bring about any outcome. Combining the traits of faithfulness and power makes it inevitable for God's words to happen. Choosing either of his personalities, whether you opt for his loyalty or acknowledge his ability to enforce his authority, is enough to make what he says happen without any added conditions. However, when you combine the two, it makes what he says go beyond the realm of possibility. The only choice we have when God speaks is acknowledging that it's done. Remember this, faith and fear cannot coexist. One must stay and the other must go. To have faith, you must let go of fear. God is faithful to his promises. He reminded Moses of the covenant he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even before Moses was born. So God assured Moses that he would fulfill his promise by delivering and saving his people. God's promises stand the test of time and travels through generations. His promises cannot go anywhere but to the place called fulfillment. Time does not matter. What he says must happen. It will get done. In verse 8 of Exodus chapter 6, God made a vow to bless Abraham and all of his descendants. He told Abraham they would become a great nation, which was fulfilled in Exodus chapter 1. It is imperative to not allow circumstances, situations, or people to cause you to become discouraged. Okay, so when we read further on, Exodus chapter 6, verse 9, it shows that it is imperative to not allow circumstances, situations, or people to cause you to become discouraged. Discouragement blinds you and robs you of your joy. It is the tool used to make you question God's character and doubt his promises. Further, it is critical to not let the responses of others or your flaws lead you to become disheartened, as this may lead to doubt and eventually giving up. To truly succeed, we need to shift our focus away from ourselves and acknowledge that we can achieve anything through the strength and abilities given to us by God. Our accomplishments are not solely reliant on our own feeble strength, our own limitations, or lack of insight. Similar to our wisdom is not self-derived, as we are finite beings. Our ability to accomplish what God asks of us comes solely from him. He provides everything we need, and our trust should be in him and not in ourselves. Now, I didn't go into details, or I didn't read the full scriptures from Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. I will recommend, or I would advise you to actually read those scriptures in details in hopes to make sense of what I'm sharing here. But Exodus chapter 4, verse 6 teaches us that everything we can do is decided by God, and that God is in control. He is our assistance, our strength, and assures us that he will never forsake us or leave us as we travel through life. It is time we start getting out of our own way and allow God to be the driving force to our success. The scriptures cautions us that although things may look bad, it does not mean what God said won't happen. It's quite the opposite. The process is part of God's divine plan. And once we gain understanding of how God does things, we can navigate life's difficulties easier. There are wrong relationships and there are right relationships. And having a relationship with God is right. When it comes to God, there's no need to doubt or question the truth of his word. God respects and values his word even more than his own name and reputation. He is our great king, and whatever he says becomes law and will happen. God is devoted to you and devoted to seeing you accomplish what he started in you. God is faithful because it's his nature to be faithful. Many of us have encountered situations where our trust has been broken at some point in our lives, and these experiences can be very painful and make it difficult to trust again. But the word trust means to have complete confidence in someone. It is where your belief in that person is strong and unshakable. It is having a firm belief in their strength and ability. It is having assurance in the person's credibility, character, and word. This is who God is, someone you can trust. His nature is like a devoted father who is affectionate and caring. While placing trust in people can result in pain and letdowns, this is not the case with God. These chapters show us that our personal fears and uncertainties can hinder our progress and stop us from accomplishing extraordinary feats. The Bible teaches us many lessons to help us get through anything in life. No matter what happens, you should have God's word as your foundation to succeed no matter what you experience in life. I hope this was encouraging. And again, I do encourage you to go back and read Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. And then if you want to listen to this podcast again to have a better understanding of the breakdown of each scripture. Oh, I actually want to make a quick correction. It's not Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. It's actually Exodus chapter 4 to chapter 6. So again, it's the book of Exodus, and I'm reading chapters 4, chapters 5, and chapter 6. So in these chapters is where the conversation's stemming from. All right. So I apologize. It's not Exodus chapter 4, verse 6. It's actually Exodus chapter 4, 5, and 6. This podcast is inspired from blogs that I write. So if you really want to have a quick reference or to find the scriptures quickly and match it up with what I have been discussing in this podcast, then you can check out the blog, and it's called What Can We Learn from Moses? So just head to my website, heatheredmond.com, look for that blog, What Can We Learn from Moses? And then you'll actually see the scriptures and then the commentaries that fall right after. Before you go, join thousands of subscribers and get monthly blogs to see how the Bible is your guide for life, helping you grow mature and get through anything in life. Just head over to my website, heatheredmond.com, and sign up. One last thing. If you found this podcast valuable, please remember to share it on social media. Sharing is a free way to share the gospel and to let everyone know how we miss opportunities due to fear, doubt, and challenges. Thanks again for listening to Sharing Solutions for Life.